Hi students, in this video I'll be going through some questions on real numbers as well as on speed. Alright, so let's take a look at the first question. So it comes from chapter 2 and this is try it yourself 5. Alright, let's read the question. So the temperature of a substance rises by 6 degrees Celsius in the first hour of recording and then drops by 7 degrees Celsius in the next hour. How much has the temperature changed after the first 2 hours? Right, so for this question, what we have here is this. So we have a particular starting temperature. Okay, so at this particular temperature, okay, so let's call this the start. All right, so this is the start. Okay, so we don't know what temperature it is. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so what happens is that in the first hour, the temperature rises by 6 degrees. So the temperature goes up. Okay, so this one is plus 6 degrees Celsius. Right, then after 1 hour, okay, so this is after 1 hour, okay, the temperature is over here. Okay, then in the second hour, the temperature drops by 7 degrees. So from this temperature, it drops by 7. All right, so from here to here, we have negative minus 7, okay, because it's a drop. Okay, so now they're asking you, right, how much has the temperature changed after the first 2 hours? So remember, this is the start, okay, this is the end, right, okay, or after 2 hours. Okay, so now they're asking you, what is this change in temperature? Okay, so we can see that the final temperature, which is the one that is after 2 hours, right, is lower than the starting one. Okay, so if the final is lower than the starting, then the change will be a negative change, all right? Okay, so we can calculate that easily by just doing this. So change in temperature would be, in the first hour, it went up by 6 degrees. In the second hour, it dropped by 7 degrees. Okay, so basically what you do is that to calculate change, right, you take the first increase, okay, the first temperature increase plus the decrease. So decrease, we put a negative here, all right? So if we were to open the brackets, positive plus negative will become negative, all right? So 6 degrees minus 7 degrees. So the overall change in temperature will be negative 1 degree Celsius. All right, so at this point, do take note that it is possible for a change to be negative. Okay, it's possible for the change to be negative number because a negative number just simply means that something has decreased in value. So in this case, we are talking about temperature. Okay, all right. Okay, so do know that your answer for change, right, is possible to be a negative value if there is a drop in a certain value. Okay, in this case, it's the temperature. Right, let's now move on to question part B. Okay, so Jane owes Peter $18. She returns him $13. How much money does Jane owe Peter now? Right, so this is a typical question about owing and returning money. So Jane owes Peter, right, $18. Okay, so now what we can write down is at the start. Okay. Okay, owe money means you have we can call it negative lah, right? At the start. So Jane has negative $18 because she owes Peter $18. Right? So we can call that negative 18 and then she returned him 13. Okay, so if she returned him 13, then she will owe lesser amount already, right? Right? Okay, so now okay will be negative 18, then you return 13, so you plus 13. Right, so negative 18 plus 13 will be negative 5. So that means now she still owe uh, Peter $5. Okay, but actually this question is a rather straightforward question. Okay, if you want to use a negative and positive sign, we can easily tell that the answer is 18 minus 13, right? Because you owe 18, then you return 13, so you will just owe $5 only. All right. Okay, so how much money does Jane owe Peter now? So Jane owes Peter $5. Right? Okay, so not a difficult question, but do take note, change can be negative. Yes, we have seen from part A. All right, now let's take a look at some questions related to the conversion of units for speed. All right, so this question comes from practice exercise 8.3, question 2. Right, let's start with question 2A. Okay, so we want to convert everything to meters per second, right? Okay, so the first question is 24 kilometer per second. Okay, in order to do such questions properly, you got to understand what does it mean by per second, or kilometer per second, or meter per second. Okay, so basically when we say that the speed of something is 24 kilometer per second, means that this object is actually moving very fast, because in 1 second it moves 24 kilometers, right? So if we were to write it down as a fraction, right, it will actually look like this: 24 kilometer divided by 1 second. Okay, we want the unit to be meter per second, right? So meter per second is actually meter divided by second. Okay, this line over here actually stands for divide. Okay, it's actually a divide sign. All right, divide sign. Okay, so the bottom is already second. Okay, bottom is 1 second. So this is already second. The top, you see, we want it to be meter, but here is kilometer, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to convert the top to meters, and that will give us the answer already, right? Okay, so 24 kilometer, we will change it to meters. So kilometer to meter, we just multiply by 1,000, right? Okay, then we do the division again. So now 24,000 meter divided by 1 second. So the answer will be 24,000, okay, meter per second. Just like that, right? Okay, so convert the top unit to meter, convert the bottom to second, and then recalculate again. Okay, let's take a look at part B. Right, you may want to pause the video and then try it out on your own first. Okay, then you see whether you can get the answer or not. Okay, part B, we have 50 meter per hour. Okay, so 50 meter per hour is 50 meter divided by 1 hour. Okay, 50 meter divided by 1 hour. Okay, the top is already meters already, so I don't have to do anything to it. Okay, so now we need to change the bottom to second, right? Okay, this is when you need to know 1 hour has how many seconds? Okay, 1 hour has 60 minutes. Okay, and each minute has 60 seconds in it. Okay, so 1 hour will actually be 60 times 60 seconds, okay, which is 3,600 seconds. Okay, so I repeat again, 1 hour inside got 60 minutes. Within each minute, there's 60 seconds. So multiply together, you get 3,006. Okay, so you get this. So 50 divided by 3,006, you get 1 over 72 lah. Okay, you can leave your answer like this, or you can put as 368 if you want. Okay, or if you put 368, it will be 0.0139. Right. Okay, let's take a look at part C. Part C, we want 80 kilometer per minute. Okay, so 80 kilometer per minute means 80 kilometer divided by 1 minute. Okay, so we want meter per second, right? So the top change to meter. So 80 kilometer will be 80,000 meter times 1,000. And then 1 minute, we change to seconds, will be 60 seconds. Then you do the division again. So 80,000 divided by 60 will give us the answer. Okay, so we will get 1333.3 meter per second. Okay, so if we round to 368, it will be Okay, so this is 360. All right. Okay, so convert the top to meter, convert the bottom to second, then recalculate. All right. Okay, the last question is 126 kilometer per hour. Okay, this sorry, part here. 126 kilometer per hour. So kilometer per hour means kilometer divided by 1 hour. Okay, so same thing, convert the top to meter. Kilometer to meter, we multiply by 1000. Okay, then 1 hour has 3600 seconds, right? From based on what we found just now. So then you do the division again. 126,000 divided by 3600. Okay, so you'll get 35 meters per second. Okay, so that is how it works. All right. So convert the top to meter, convert the bottom to second, then redo the calculation. Okay, you will be able to get the answer. All right. Right, let's take a look at one last question regarding speed. Okay, so this comes from practice exercise 8.3, question 6. Okay, when an F-16 jet fighter flew from its base to a city at an average speed of 2000 kilometers per hour. Okay, if the distance between the base and the city is 500 kilometers, find the time taken in minutes. Okay, so in order to do this question, okay, we need to know the relationship between speed, distance, and time very well. Okay, so if you still recall the triangle, okay, it's going to be speed equals to distance over time. Okay, so actually quite easy to remember. Distance, you see, is the letter that comes first, right, in the whole alphabet. So D, then followed by S and T. Okay, so D on top, S, then T. Right? Okay, so this will allow us to know very well okay, the relationship between distance, speed, and time. Right, so regardless of which one we want to find, we can easily write down the formula in the correct form. Okay? Okay, so over here they want to find the time taken, right? Okay, time taken. So now that means they want T. Okay, so time taken will be D over S. Okay, so time taken is D on top over S. Okay, the distance is 500 kilometer and the speed is 2000 kilometer per hour. Okay, so one thing to note before you proceed with any calculation, right? You must ask yourself, is this unit for the distance? Okay, same as this one. So this one is kilometer, the bottom must be kilometer. If the top is meter, then the bottom must be meter, right? So 500 divided by 2000, that's actually 1/4, right? So it's actually 1/4 hours. Okay, how do I know it's hour, not minute and second? Look here, this is hour, right? This is hour. Okay, so 1/4 of an hour is actually, to convert to minutes, you times 60. Okay, so 1/4 times 60, you get 15 minutes. Okay. Right, so this is the way to do questions related to speed. Okay, so you need to know this one very well. Okay, so try to go and recall, okay, or remember this. Okay, this one you need to know very well. Okay, the relationship between distance, speed, and time. Okay, then regardless of which one you want to find, you can always do it. Okay, so this one is actually a times here. Okay, so you can either write this way, distance equals to speed times time, or speed equals to distance over time, or time equals, as we've done in this question, distance over speed. All right. So three ways to write it. Okay, which one to use depends on the what the question is asking for. All right. Okay, so I've come to the end of the video. Do more practice. Okay, go and take the tutorial book or the textbook and do more questions, and you should gradually get better. All right. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.